The hum of the Ikeja City Mall was a dull roar, but all I could hear was the frantic beat of my own heart. Across the bustling food court, there she was, Amara, my ex-wife, with her son Femi. He was laughing, a bright, unburdened sound that ripped through me. I watched them, a phantom ache blooming in my chest. 3 years divorced, yet the sight of them together still felt like a punch to the gut. I had thrown it all away. Every single thing. I remember the arguments, sharp and incessant, like the Lagos rain drumming on a tin roof. Amara, exhausted from sleepless nights with Femi, her eyes always red. Me, overwhelmed, feeling trapped, craving the freedom I used to have. I was 30, she was 28. We were too young, too naive for the wahala of marriage and a newborn, or so I convinced myself then. I remember telling her I needed space. I meant a week, maybe two. She packed a bag, took Femi, and left. I thought she would come back. She never did. She filed for divorce instead. Now, the only way she would talk to me was email, and only about Femi. No calls, no text, definitely no showing up at her new place in Lekki Phase 1. She would set her boundaries like a concrete fence, and I respected them, mostly. Today was different. Today, I wanted to show her I would changed. I had to. I wanted that spark to ignite again, that connection we once shared. I wanted my family back. I walked towards them, a smile plastered on my face, but my insides were a mess. Femi spotted me first, his small legs pumping as he ran into my arms. That hug, that innocent, trusting embrace always gave me strength. Amara offered a tight, polite smile. Tunde, she said, her voice cool, collected, a stark contrast to the woman I married. We got Femi some small chops. Then we walked around the mall, browsing shops, pretending to be a normal family for a precious hour. As we left the toy store, Femi distracted by a new action figure, I reached for Amara's hand. Her fingers stiffened at first, then relaxed, a little. My heart did a flip. Was it possible? Did she still feel something? A tiny spark of the old us? I pulled her closer gently, my hand resting on her lower back. She did not pull away. My confidence swelled. This was it. This was my chance to undo all my mistakes. When we stepped out into the sweltering Lagos sun, I offered to drive them home. I beg, let me drop you, I insisted, already gesturing towards my car. Amara hesitated, looking at Femi, who was already half asleep in my arms. Okay, fine, she conceded. A victory. I felt a surge of triumph. As I opened the back door for Femi, Amara moved to sit with him. But I stopped her. No, sit with me in front, I said, my voice softer than I intended. Let Femi sleep in the back, more space. She looked at me, a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes, but she obliged. The familiar scent of her perfume, a mix of roses and something uniquely hers, filled the car. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white. She sat beside me, quiet, looking out at the chaotic traffic of Surulere. My hand found hers again, resting on her lap. She did not pull away this time, but she did not reciprocate either. Her hand remained passive beneath mine. Still, I took it as a sign. A good sign. I was building bridges, brick by brick, moment by moment. The silence was not awkward. It was pregnant with possibility. Also, I desperately wanted to believe. When we finally pulled up to our gate in Lekki, the street lights just coming on, the air heavy with the smell of evening suya from a nearby stand, Femi was still fast asleep. I carried him inside, Amara leading the way. Her apartment was neat, minimal, a reflection of the clean break she would make from me. I placed Femi gently on his bed, tucking him in. Amara stood by the door, waiting. It was time for me to go, but I could not. Not yet. I walked to her, my heart pounding a rhythm I had not felt in years. Thank you for today, I whispered, pulling her into a hug. It started innocent, platonic, but my arms tightened, pulling her flush against me. I buried my face in her hair, inhaling her scent. I kissed her forehead, then her temple. She was still quiet. My mind screamed, she is letting you do this. She wants you back. And then, without thinking, my lips found hers. It was a desperate, hungry kiss, a plea for absolution, for a second chance. Her lips were soft but unresponsive. I pulled away, breathless, looking at her. Her eyes were wide, filled with a mixture of shock and something I could not quite decipher. Fear? Confusion? I drove home to the quiet, darkened streets of Ikoyi, a strange mix of euphoria and nausea swirling in my gut. I had kissed her. I had. It meant something, surely. That quietness, that stillness, it had to be a sign, right? The initial rush faded, replaced by a cold, creeping dread. Her eyes, the way she looked at me. It was not love. It was not longing. It was fear, or maybe disgust. I had pushed. I had taken. I had crossed the line she had clearly drawn in the sand, not with words, but with her very being. The truth hit me like a Lagos downfall at full speed. I had not rebuilt anything. I had just broken her trust. Again, I spent the rest of the night staring at my ceiling, the smell of suya from earlier now making my stomach churn. I was not just selfish, I was a fool. I had convinced myself that my desperate longing was a noble pursuit of reconciliation. But it was just me, trying to mend my own wounds at her expense. She deserved respect, clear boundaries, and the space to heal, not a repeat performance of my past mistakes, forcing closeness she did not offer. I had been so focused on getting her back, I had completely ignored her feelings, her comfort, her right to say no. The next morning, with a heavy heart and a clear head, I sat at my laptop. Not to beg, not to explain away my actions, but to apologize. A true apology. I wrote Amara, I am truly sorry for crossing your boundaries yesterday. My actions were selfish and completely out of line. I understand that I made you uncomfortable, and for that, I am deeply ashamed. It was wrong of me, and I promise it will not happen again. My only focus going forward will be Femi, and I will respect your space completely. Sending that email felt like a weight lifting, even as it solidified the finality of our separation. The road back to trust, even as co-parents, would be long, but it had to start with respect. And that meant letting go of the dream of us, for good.